What's up, YouTube? Long time no see. I've been busy, man. Been slacking on the YouTube videos, so thought I'd pop one out real quick. I'm trying to shorten these videos up, man. I'm getting better and better. I think my first video is like damn near an hour or something like that. So I'm slowly getting down there, man. Because I know people's attention spans are short these days. So I'll try to get to the point, man. What I'm doing today is just, basic service, mowing, weed eating, edging, blowing. That's about it. But what I want to talk about is kind of when to throw in the towel with the full-time job that you got right now. If you're not doing lawn care and you're doing another kind of, or have another career, and you're just not feeling it anymore, and you've been doing lawn care on the side and you want to do lawn care full time, but you're not sure, when you should quit your job, or if you should quit your job. I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. So, like, my background, I used to do lawn care for a company when I was like 21 years old, somewhere around there. We actually cut Evander Holyfield's house, his mansion that's in Fayetteville. It's now Rick Ross's, the rapper. It's his mansion now, but that's what I did originally for about 6 or 7 months when I worked with them. So that's where my lawn care experience originally came from. But prior to that, man, I did not want to touch a lawnmower. I wanted nothing to do with lawn care. But that gave me my taste, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. But what I ended up doing was going to college not right out of high school. I took a couple of years trying to figure things out, and actually went to school to become an EMT. Decided quickly that I did not want to do that, and then I was like, let me go to college for what I love to do, which is art. Of all things, I wanted to get an art degree. So I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta when I was about 22 years old. I majored in computer animation and focused on 3D modeling. So I wanted to do character models for video games and shows and movies and stuff like that. So when I get out of school, there was not a high demand for those types of positions. It's really a big networking type of industry. So obviously I didn't do the networking like I should have, but I did have some success with it later down the line. About 8 months after I graduated college, I got on with a company based out of LaGrange, Georgia, doing 2D and 3D visuals for for sales people, selling what textiles and whatever else they were selling to the customers. So it was basically graphic design, and I was in that industry for about 15 years, and I picked our family up and moved us to Savannah for a job at a well-known company. I'm not going to mention any names, but my experience there was so bad. It was during the COVID year, which nobody could have helped that or prevented that. That's another topic for another day, but whatever. But the experience there was just so bad and left such a bad taste in my mouth. I just felt like nothing I did was being appreciated by my employer. And it's kind of one of those things where they say, like, oh yeah, we appreciate you, but actions speak louder than words. And the actions of my employer, my managers, it was time for me to move on. And I started doing lawn care on the side, just trying to make some extra money. And I eventually wanted to do that full time, but I wasn't planning on doing that until like 2 or 3 years down the line. I wanted to just do it on the side to get some extra money. But with how things were shaking out with my company, with my employment, it was time for me to throw in the towel because it was just time for, I think, both me and that company to part ways. It was just getting very toxic, and I still speak to some people from there to this day, and it's the same old stuff. I hear the same stuff. Nothing has changed. So it just kind of like reassures me that, like, yeah, I did make the right move, and it definitely was not easy at first, because taking that leap um, was very scary. It was very difficult because I was leaving my 9 to 5, where I got paid every 2 weeks. I had great insurance. The insurance was actually really good. If anything, that helped me and my family out quite a bit, because my wife got cancer in 2021. So that insurance with that company helped with all her treatments. So I'm a firm believer in everything works out the way it should. God has a plan, and sometimes you don't know what His plan is, but I think it works out in the end, typically. So it was kind of hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel at that particular time, but we ended up moving away from Savannah back to where we originally are from, which is South Atlanta, in Newnan, to be more specific. So I was actually working remotely when we came back from Savannah. I was working remotely with that company, and it was not working out. So I decided to do the lawn care full time, and making that jump was very difficult. I had around 20 customers when I made the jump the full time. So, and those weren't 20 weeklies; those were mainly bi-weeklies. I would say, if I had to put a number on it, it would probably be maybe like 3 weeklies, and the rest were bi-weeklies. So I just went out there and hustled. I advertised like crazy within, for the first couple of years that I was in business. I advertised on Facebook a lot. I did a lot of Facebook ads. I joined a lot of yard sale groups on Facebook, where I posted, all of my graphics. Now I do all my marketing, just because I have a background in creating my own graphics, and a background in working with marketing teams with the companies that I've worked for. I never worked with them, but I just saw how they operated. I've always watched and observed. So it was kind of like one of those things where I was able to figure it out. And when you got social media at your fingertips, it makes it a lot easier to advertise, as opposed to 25 years ago, or shoot, a little longer than that. Lord have mercy, we're getting old. 30 years ago, before the internet, maybe longer before that. I don't know how long the internet's out, but put ads out in the paper and stuff. So it's easier today with social media. So I posted a lot on Facebook. I posted a lot on Nextdoor. So I got a lot of my customers from those places, and I would say that the rest came from word of mouth and Google. So when you're first starting out, those are the biggest things I would say to get is a Google business page, run ads on Facebook and Nextdoor, constantly advertise. If you're needing more customers, I can't stress enough how important it is to advertise. So if you ever need help with something, just let me know. Like, and maybe you know something that I don't when it comes to advertising. I'm always willing to learn more and wanting to learn more. So those things definitely helped out when I first made my jump. But so yeah, like I said, it was really scary making that jump. Here I ran out of weed eater string. This is pro tip right here. Pro tip number 1: always carry weed eater string in your pocket. If you don't, right here, what I would have done, which the truck isn't too far away, it's right there, but I would have to go back to my trailer, get some string, cut it, So keep string in your pockets, man. I'm pretty sure most of y'all know this, but a lot of the guys beginning, that's one of those things where when I originally worked for a lawn care company based out of Peachtree City, when I was out at Rick Ross's mansion, which was Holyfield's mansion back then, uh, I would be way on the other side of the property. I mean, I don't even know how far. It was just I'd be walking for ever, it seemed like, just to get to our work truck. And I learned very quickly to have weed eater string in my pocket. And I actually would leave gas cans at midpoints. So yeah, you learn really quick because it sucks when you run out of string. You have to go back to your truck. So that right there took about a minute, and you're up and running again. Um, and that's the Stihl auto cut auto feed head. It's similar to the Echo Speed Feed. So you just kind of put it in the string in the eye and then just feed it through and just wind up the head of it. And it only takes a minute to do, which is great. But sometimes the heads will start wearing down, and it becomes a pain in the butt to feed the string through. So I probably replace my weed eater head probably like once to twice a year, and you'll know real quickly when it's time to replace it, because that string, like I said, just will not go through that eye very easily. So anyways, yeah, pro tip right there. So if you're just not feeling your full-time job anymore, or wherever you're at, and you've got some customers, maybe you don't have to, maybe you only have just 5 or 6, but do what you need to do, and market, do some marketing, run some ads, create the Google business page, and get things rolling, man. And I wish I would have just done this sooner, honestly. I love doing lawn care. I'm not a big fan anymore of doing 10 yards every single day. I'm 43 years old now, so I'm getting a little long in the tooth, man. So there's definitely things that I'm having to explore, because I'm not going to be able to do 10 yards a day when I'm 53 years old. It's just not going to happen. I'll probably be lucky if I can do 5 yards a day, to be honest. So I started looking into doing pressure washing and soft washing. So I'm going to be adding that to my service pretty soon. I'm actually getting a rig built right now. It's going to be pretty cool, man. I'm going to make a whole video about that. If you've never considered offering pressure washing or soft washing as one of your services, just look into it, because I remember when I first started my lawn care business, I'd see other videos. People were like, oh, the profit margins of, pressure washing are just so much better in lawn care. And I was like, okay, whatever. I want to do lawn care. This is what I want to do. I was, because I love doing lawn care. I love cutting grass, making cash. But like I said, the profit margins with pressure washing, soft washing are through the roof, and it's a lot easier on your body. If you're solo, it's just not feasible for you to do this for a long period of time. And I know a lot of people are like, well, just hire a helper. And I don't want to deal with the headache of trying to find a good helper, because I know in this industry, man, it's like a revolving door. You could find some young kid, out of school for the summer, and you may find a good, hard-working kid, or you may find one that's going to leave you hanging dry or out and dry. And that's not something I want to deal with, because if I hire a helper, I'm going to have to get more yards, which is no problem. But if I get more yards, so like right now I'm around 70, 75 70 to 75 yards. So if I got a helper, I would have to double that in order to make sure I continue to see the profit that I need to see to keep my household running. So if I get 140 yards, then next thing you know, I gotta make sure that I hire a good helper. And if I don't, he's just going to could call out sick a bunch of times, because I know when I was that age, I was not reliable at all. And I'm just basing it off of how, you know, I was when I was younger, and how the people that I worked with that were younger, they called out all the time. They didn't put a lot of effort forward, and even now it's even worse these days. I don't want to say kids are lazy these days, man. I don't want to say anything like that. Because each generation, like the kids, it's a learning process of getting into the workforce. So nothing against this generation of kids at all. It's just trying to find a helper that's going to not leave you hanging out to dry. Because, if he calls out, 2 times, then next thing you know, I'm going to have to bust out a bunch of yards that day. And it's just, I don't want to deal with that headache. So, I decided as a solo operator, I was like, what can I do to continue to see these profits, but not take on more yards? So the first thing was I raised prices on most of my customers. So last year I raised prices on around half of my customers. This year it was the other half. There was a few that I didn't raise prices on because I had them priced just right. But and that's great and all. So I gave myself a raise, which is great. But I'm still having to do, on average every day I'm doing about, I would say 9 yards. And they're not all cookie cutters. Like this one right here is pretty. It's pretty cookie cutter. It takes me about 35 minutes, somewhere around there. I did edit this video. I cut out some of the in between moments where nothing's happening, so that shaved off about 4 or 5 minutes. So this probably takes about 30 minutes. So it's not it kind of is a cookie cutter, but it's not. I have this house priced just right. I've got this one priced at $75. Takes me about 35 minutes. But like I said, I want to be able to see those profits without taking on even more work. And you can only raise prices on your customers so much. So next year, if I try to raise my prices again, like they might just be like, you know what, this is getting too expensive. And I've had customers kind of express that when it comes to my pine straw and mulch installation prices. So, you're going to push your customers to a point where they're going to have to say sometimes no, just because, everybody's financial situation is different. And the soft washing thing was, the profit's crazy. So you could, like this size house that I'm at now, you can easily pull in like, probably like $600 for, an hour job, to soft wash the house. That's not including the driveway, but an hour just doing the house, it might take less time than that, and you can easily pull in, between, I would say, $400-$600. That's something that I have to look into, is pricing on soft washing in my area. So I got a lot to learn when it comes to that. So I'll be making videos about that, and I'll definitely need help with that for anybody out there, that has experience in that. But so anyways, that's pretty much what I got, man. If you're not happy with where you're at in life when it comes to your job, if it's making you miserable, throw in the towel, man. It's okay to quit sometimes. My mom never raised a quitter, but I'll be damned if I'm going to be somewhere that's going to make me miserable. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And like I said, I wish I would have done this sooner. I'm making a whole lot more money. I'm working for myself. I can hire and fire customers if I need to. So it's not like I'm stuck with having to work with unpleasant customers. If they're unpleasant, I can just cut them loose. So it's kind of like you get to pick and choose who you want to work with, whereas where you're at now, you don't get to pick and choose your coworkers. You just got to put up with them. Either they're cool, you like them, or you're like, damn, I get tired of this person. Their whole energy's just off. So you get customers like that, man, you can just cut them loose if you need to. So if anybody's got questions, man, or has any input, what are y'all's experiences? What did y'all do? I put a lot of stuff out there on my videos, but talking about my experiences, but I am interested in y'all's experiences, and what made y'all leave your old employers, or why haven't you left yet, or is there something you're waiting on? Is there something you need help with? Just put it in the comments, man. So anyway, that's all I got, man. I'm just gonna keep working right here. Got to finish weeding and edging, and yeah, I'll be rolling out of here pretty quickly, man. So like 30-35 minutes, $75, bam, done. Next, see y'all.